Hey YouTube, this is Augie with Premier DJ Services. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today, but something that all DJs have to have a successful event, and that is effect lighting. And today we're going to look at the Chauvet Swarm 4. Okay, as you can see, the Chauvet Swarm 4 is a little different effect than what we see in a lot of the effect lights that are out there on the market, the moonflower type effects. With those you get much larger circles that form patterns. Nothing wrong with those. It's all a matter of personal preference. Personally, I think they look real 70s-ish, and which is the reason that I don't typically use them. I just think they look really kind of old-fashioned. With the Swarm 4, you get a effect of swirling dots and dashes that cover a very large area. You can see here that this is covering the entire wall of this room, and we're only at about 6 to 7 feet away from there. So you know at a distance that's going to multiply. I can cover just about any entire room with 2 of these, and I usually do use 2 of them in unison. A little bit about the light itself. Okay. Here's the front of the light. As you can see, we've got, it's pretty much a square casing, and we have got 8 rectangular shaped lenses around the front of it. And then if we were to look inside, and it's very difficult with the light running, but as you can see in there, there's a motor that is rotating back and forth the series of mirrors inside of it that reflect the lights. And the lights are, it is a red, blue, green, and an amber LED that is inside of there. And as the motor turns back and forth, that's how we get our rotating motion. And then the lenses here on the front are what's refracting that light and breaking it up into the multiple beams. Okay, now for the goodies on the back. Pretty typical setup. You're going to have your 4-button LED display, menu, down, up, and then your enter. Over here you have a red light which tells you when you're in DMX mode. Here you have a green light that comes on and tells you that you are in sound active mode. Over here we have a light, that tells us that we are in auto mode. And then over here we have a light that comes on and tells us when that this is in slave. And then here we have our microphone. Here we have our knob for the sensitivity of our microphone. We have DMX in, DMX out, and then below that we have our power out, so we can link them together. And then of course here's our power in. Over here of course is your loop for your safety cable, and I actually have mine bolted directly to it rather than using a clamp. Still a good idea to use a safety cable though. Okay, now the modes that we have for this is we can go into, right now it's in sound active mode. Sound active mode on this is a little different than some lights, and I've seen some negative comments on it about how it works. The thing that you must understand is that the sound active does not slow the rotation of the beams down. The sound active only, whenever you get a bass hit, it just changes the rotation rather than actually slowing it down. So a slow song will not necessarily, you won't get a slow beam swirl like this, you will just get, it won't change as often. Okay, you can change the sound sensitivity with the knob to where it will change how sensitive it is to change that rotation, but it will not actually slow the beams down. So this is not that great of a light for slow songs. You're still going to get a pretty quick swirl of light like you would with this. So not really effective for slow dances. I typically won't even turn it on for the first dance of the night. So it is what it is though. Now the next feature that we have right now, like I said, we're in sound. Now we're going to go, we're in DMX mode. So you can use this with a controller, and it's got some pretty neat features with that. And I will use this sometimes for when I'm not DJing, but if I'm doing like with a band, especially if they want some lighting for the dance floor to enhance their the mood of the night, I will use this in DMX mode in conjunction with the rest of the band lights. But you put it into DMX mode and then you can select your channel. I've currently got this running on DMX channel 60. The next thing that we can look at is we can put this in auto mode. This thing has many different auto speeds. We can go anywhere from 0 up to 99 on the speeds, which all it will do is change the frequency of when it changes the colors and changes the rotation. Then, whoops, we can come back to sound active mode then. And like I said, in sound active, just there is no other settings in that. When you put it in sound active, you just hit enter, and we're now in sound active mode, and it responds to low frequency, but every time you get a bass hit or significant low frequency sound, it will change the color and it will change the rotation. Now we're going to talk a little bit about putting these in master slave mode. Okay, now if you do not run these in master slave mode, what you're going to get is two lights running independently of one another. And see, when we get our bass hits, you're going to see one of them may react, one of them may not. You're going to get different things going on. This is two lights working independently of one another. So if you wanted to have these lights work in conjunction with one another and put them in master slave, that's what we need to do. Okay, and the way that this is accomplished is you put your first light in your chain. You're going to put it either in sound active mode, or you can put it in one of the auto modes by using your menu buttons. Then we're going to take a DMX cable, always use DMX, not XLR, and come out of that light and into this light on the DMX end. We've now linked these together. And then what we have to do is, with this light, this one over here, we're in sound active mode. We could have put it in auto mode, but we're in sound active mode for this demonstration. And then the second light, you actually put it in DMX mode. We're in DMX, and then we're going to put it on channel 1, channel DMX 1. So we're now in DMX 1. And now what you're going to see is these lights will do the exact same thing. So you have a more coordinated looking light show. You don't have one light reacting and the other light not reacting, or one set of colors on one light, another set on another one. Every time you get a bass hit, you get the exact same, you get the same rotation, you get the same color scheme. Everything is identical, working off of light number 1, which is essentially sending a DMX signal by our cable over to light number 2 on the input. So you're basically getting a DMX signal from light 1 to light 2, rather than using a board or any other sort of DMX source. The light 1 is supplying the DMX signal to light 2. So this is the Chauvet Swarm 4. Really good, really versatile effect light that you can use for your dance floors. Will completely fill that floor up with all of these hundreds, maybe even thousands of different colored red, blue, green, and amber dashes. It really adds a lot of movement to the dance floor without adding tons and tons of light to it. As we all know, people are shy, especially until they get a little bit of drink in them, and they will sometimes shy away from that dance floor if it is really lit up, as opposed to if it's a little bit dark, you've got some movement going on there, but you don't have your wash lights on it like a par or something like that, then they feel a little more comfortable. They're in the dark. They don't feel like all eyes are on them. So that's the reason that I choose the Chauvet Swarm 4. Not necessarily saying it is the light for you, but it is what I choose, and this is how it works and all the different features of it. You can also, as I said, use this in DMX mode with a controller, and I do that quite often. We may do a video on that later. But for now, this is the Chauvet Swarm 4, and this is Augie with Premier DJ Services. Practice and enjoy.